Hi and welcome to my channel. I'm Simon and today I'm back with my October book haul part 1. Yes, book hauls are coming back twice a month. I thought I could do them in a month. It's not going to happen. So this is, though, I should say, a book haul with a difference in the fact that I will go through 2/3 of the books that I've had so far in October, which I've opened, some from publishers, some that I bought myself, and then here I have some that need to be opened because I have been away. And I thought what we could do while I'm opening those is have a bit of a chat as I react to what's come in the post about things that are coming up, what's going to happen with the channel a little bit, and all of those things. So this is kind of like a book haul extra, I guess. And if you want to see more of these unwrappings, I do them on my Patreon, which I always link down below. And because I'm traveling so much at the moment, they're happening quite often now. So when they come back to lots of parcels, I open them and have a chat with you all about what's going on. So let's get cracking on the actual books before we unparcel and talk about what's going on. It could be a bit of a long video, so you might want to grab a cup of tea, which leads me nicely into smooth the fact that I have a new mug. How gorgeous is this? It arrived day before yesterday, I think it was, and it's from Woozy Alpaca, who have sent me loads of really lovely stuff. Not spod, not spawn, not on ad, and they just knew that I would like them because I love mugs and stuff. And yeah, gorgeous. So let me wet my palate. Oh, that's not very nice sound, is it? Let's have a sip and let's begin. Starting off with, as always, books from publishers, and I'm going to go through some of the books for 2022 that have arrived that I'm so excited about I could pop. Yeah, I'm just stupidly excited about them. First up, you'll know why I'm excited about this, is To Paradise by Hanya Yanagihara. This is out in January, and all I know is that it's paradise is for some, paradise is not for all. I don't want to know any more about this. I've heard it goes into the future. I know it's exactly the same length as A Little Life, and that is enough for me to be intrigued. I'm going to probably read this and a couple of the other books I'm most excited about for 2022 in a reading vlog in a few weeks because I'll be travelling a lot, and this is perfect to be taken around because it's a right old chunkster. Then we have one of my favourite authors, or another of my favourite authors. I don't know though, I have to have read 3 books by an author for them to be a favourite, and I have read 3 by this author. I haven't by Hanya Yanagihara. This is A Tidy Ending by Joanna Cannon. And on the front it says, "It couldn't happen here. It's not that kind of street." Again, I don't know anything else about it. I don't want to know anything else about it. I just want to go into this because I know I'm going to absolutely love it in a totally different way to probably loving and being broken by and ruined by Hanya Yanagihara. This I know will just be a joy, although there'll probably be bittersweet moments within it. So very, very excited for this one. As I am Devotion by Hannah Kent. I've loved both of her previous books madly. She's an Australian author. You'll all know that I really, really like Australian fiction. Haven't read as much of it as I would like this year. But yeah, this is out in February. I know very little about this. I think it's got a big queer love story to its heart though, which intrigues me all the more, but I'm really, really looking forward to going into this blind very, very soon. As I am Amy Liptrott's The Instant. I absolutely loved Amy's The Outrun, which was a memoir, and I think this is non-fiction again, and yeah, it's quite vignette-y from the looks of it, but I know nothing more about it, and that's the way I'm going to keep it until I open it and get cracking with it. So if you know anything about those 4 books, don't tell me in the comments down below unless you're excited about them. I don't want to know too much. On to some of the most anticipated books for the rest of this year for me. It's a good haul, this haul. And first up, Bernardine Evaristo's Manifesto on Never Giving Up. This is Bernardine's memoir, and I will be in conversation with Bernardine in Liverpool on Thursday the 28th. I will put a link to that down below. I'm so excited. I actually moved. Well, I'm not going on holiday as early as I was meant to be because I'm going to be doing this gig and then going the next day instead. So I have apologised to my mother and my stepfather for this, but that's just the way it is. Anyway, yeah, really, really keen to read this. Very, very excited indeed. As I Am Lily by Rose Tremaine. This is out in November. I had no idea there was a new Rose Tremaine novel coming. And yeah, this looks like it's going to be a really gothic, historical, well, it says A Tale of Revenge on the cover, so that's almost enough for me. And on the back it says, nobody knows yet that she is a murderer. So I'm excited to meet Lily and see what happens. I think it's going to be a short, sharp shocker, which will be a delight. Speaking of short, sharp, not necessarily shockers, but just fantastic. Another author who's becoming a favourite author of mine is Ursa Daly Ward. This is The How, Notes on the Great Work of Meeting Yourself. I absolutely loved Ursa's poetry collection Bone, and then thought The Terrible, her memoir, was anything but terrible, because it was funking fantastic. It was just amazing. This is out in November. It may well be a Sykes and Savage, I can't even say my own name, Sykes and Savage / the Frank Book Club pick. That's all I'm saying. So if you want to pre-order some of those, but yeah, because I know Melanie's a fan too. Ursa is just incredible. She's so astute, and so warm and generous, and so honest and frank and all those things. No, but actually I don't like the word but. Yeah, really, really can't wait for this. Can't wait for Sarah Hall's Burncoat. Like, how autumny is that cover? Again, know very little about this. In fact, I would go as far as saying next to nothing, other than it's Sarah Hall and it's got a really autumnal cover. But when I read Sarah Hall, I really, really like her. I haven't read enough of her books. I've read 2 or 3 of her short story collections and really loved those. Maybe even 4 of her. Has she got 4 short story collections? I don't know, but I've read a lot of her short story collections. Not so much her novels, and that's something that I want to change. Then we have the debut from Lucy Mangan. This is Are We Having Fun Yet? And I absolutely loved Lucy Mangan's memoir, Bookworm, which was all about growing up just loving books. It's a real nostalgic fest. And so I'm intrigued to see what she is going to do with her debut novel. Again, don't know very much about what it's about, or hardly anything about what it's about, to be frank. Just don't know what it's about. But it's one that I'm really, really keen to read, because I just loved her memoir, and I just think this is going to have this. I've just noticed it's in diary form, which I think I will enjoy. So yeah, keen to get to that one. Another memoir. Have I mentioned memoirs? I feel like I might have mentioned a memoir, I'm not sure. Yes, I have. Manifesto, another memoir that I'm really keen to read very soon is Spinning Plates by Sophie Ellis-Bextor. Sophie Ellis-Bextor is a singer here in the UK. I've loved her music for ages. She's an absolute pop princess. She's also the daughter of Janet Ellis, whose novels I adore, and I also adore Janet full stop. So I think this is going to be really, really interesting. It's about her music career, it's about being a mum, all those things, and yeah, really, really, really keen to get to it. I feel like I've said that a lot. Every time I say I'm really, really keen to get it, or really, really excited about it, take a shot of tea. I just did. And then we have Tomorrow is Beautiful by Sarah Crossan, and I loved Here is the Beehive by Sarah Crossan so much. It's a novel in prose, and I've meant to read. I have some of her young adult books on the shelves there that you can't actually see, and it looks like I'm pointing at the door. But yeah, this is a collection of poetry chosen by her to comfort, uplift and delight, and I just think that sounds really, really nice, and I need to read more poetry. I've been dreadful at reading those, a poem for every day in the year and all those. Oh, not good. Then we have Bimini Bomb Boolash's Release the Beast, which I have read. It came out yesterday, but I actually did an event with Bimini in Liverpool 2 weeks ago. No? Was it? Yeah, not yesterday, the Thursday before. Where is time going? And they were a joy, and this book is blinking fantastic. I will talk about it more in my October wrap up, because there will be one. It ain't going to be one for September, but there will be. Or it's not going to be one for September here, but there will be for October. I promise. I need to get cracking at it, because I really almost want to warm up for 2022, but we'll talk about that when I open the parcels. And then we have a finished copy of Under the Whispering Door by TJ Klune, which has reminded me I've still not read The House on the Cerulean Sea. I need to read that. That was a very popular book in my day job. We did we got libraries and library users to vote for the books that meant the most in the pandemic, and that book came up. It was a list of 100 novels that shaped our new world, and that was one. Then, I have read this one as well, actually, I say as well, I haven't read that one, I'm referring to Bimini Bon Boulash's book, Release the Beast, but I have read Did I Say That Out Loud by Fee Glover and Jane Garvey, Notes on the Chuff of Life already. I absolutely loved it, went to the book launch, I'm going on tour with them for 3 dates, which I will link down below if you'd like to come and join in the fun. And I'm going to actually listen to it again on audio because apparently they do loads of ad-libs and go off on tangents and stuff, which, as you know, I love a tangent. And so, yeah, that's going to be a treat before I go on tour with them. And lastly, from publishers, before we get into the books that I haven't opened yet, is Ruth Ozeki's The Book of Form and Emptiness, which is an absolute chunkster, but it's a really incredible book about words, about listening, about voice, about libraries, about books. And this book almost needs its own video, kind of, because of the different layers in it. But also I was thinking, because it's a book that celebrates books so much and libraries so much, would that be preaching to the converted? I'm not sure, so I'll have a think about it. But yeah, really loved that, and it was delightful to get a finished copy, and Ruth has signed it. So yeah, that was really lovely. I did that back at my old haunt / workplace of Liverpool Central Library. One more book actually from publishers that I just wanted to mention. This is the paperback of The Manning Tree Witches by A.K. Blakemore. Perfect for Halloween coming up. And it was the Desmond Elliott winner, which I was one of the judges on. I think this book is just brilliant and I would like you all to read it. I was going to suggest it as autumn book hibernation group read because I've read it quite recently, and I don't really want to reread too many books because I have got into the habit of that for various different projects so far this year. I might not, but I would definitely recommend it. I would definitely recommend it. And there may be some gothic prompts actually during autumn book hibernation, which possibly me and my mum may do a live tomorrow night because we'll be together, but I'm not going to promise that because, like with the September wrap up and the September haul that I said we're going to go live while I was away in Ireland this week, I didn't get around to filming them, and I need to stop promising things I can't always deliver. So there we go. Right, onto books that I bought myself. First of which is it's one of the quick reads, which are shorter books to get kind of adults back into reading who might not have been for a long time, but are also perfect because they are often by quite well-known authors who've had a book out that are going to draw people in as well, but also will then, hopefully, if you've read this one, you might go on to Ian Braithwaite's bigger novel if you haven't picked up a book for a while. Anyway, blah, blah. It's a great initiative, though. This is The Baby Is Mine. It's by Ian Braithwaite. I've bought a copy for my mum as well because we both really loved My Sister the Serial Killer. I've heard this is quite twisty like that too. Very short, very sharp, very excited. Might actually try and read that on the train to see her tomorrow. Speaking of trains, I picked this up to read on the train. Didn't read it because I was too busy standing on the window. Also, when have trains got so noisy? But I bought this literally today. It's Denise Mina's Rizzio, and I have to say, I met Denise Mina last night at the Gordon Byrne Prize, which I was chairing the finale of, and she was brilliant. I'd seen this before, and it's set on, I think it's Mary Queen of Scots. It's set in the 1566 and people are waiting to kind of take over the building. So it's a really tense period of history, Scottish history as well. So I'm now umming and ahhing because I didn't read it on the train. Should I read this when I'm in Scotland in a few weeks? Quite possibly. What was the other thing I was going to say? Yeah, my reading has been a bit but you'll find out more about that in my weekly reading or Did I Read Anything vlog, which will be coming on Sunday. So yeah, but I bought this literally today. The staff at Waterstones in Durham were blinking brilliant. I just want to give them a shout out. Another book that I bought there was Mother for Dinner by Shalom Auslander, and this is about the last family of cannibals in America and what they're going to do with their mother. And I just thought that sounded so interesting. I also absolutely love what they've done there. So yeah, that caught my eye and I was like, right, I need to read it. I also got myself Nikki French's Blue Monday. I've been meaning to read these for ages since Jen first talked about them, but I think what I'd like to do at some point is a video where I read the first in certain series and see if I want to carry on. And this is one that I have been meaning to get to. I was I will admit, meant to be doing it out of series that I already had on these shelves here, which are my crime shelves. Oh no. So, yeah, naughty. Another quick read that I got, actually, it was Bernadine Everestow's Hello Mum. So again, this is a short story that is for, well, if you love Bernadine Everestow, and who doesn't, you're going to want to read it, but also is to get people into reading. And because I'm doing my event with her, I want to have read all of her fiction, and I didn't realise I was missing one. So there is actually another book of hers that I'm missing, but I think it's really, really hard to get. Then I got myself the Transgender Issue, An Argument for Justice by Sean Fay. This is in part after reading Bimini's book. I realised that they were doing an event together, and also Paris Lee's What It Feels Like for a Girl is one of my absolute favourite memoirs of the year, and looks at the trans discussion and gender and all of those things. And so I wanted to read more, and this has been getting so many rave reviews as like the book that you really, really must read. I was like, well, I have to have it. So 4 of the books that I had to have at the weekend when Melanie and I were booksellers at the Book Bar in London. Thank you to everyone who came. It was so lovely to see people who watch this channel in real life. It was a joy. Melanie and I were thrilled, and also people who've been watching book club and joining in with us, and it was a delight. So I couldn't just spend the whole, well, I was there for I think 3 hours recommending books with Melanie. I couldn't just obviously recommend books, I had to buy some. So the first one that I got myself was Empress and Ania by Candice Carty-Williams. I realised there is a quick reads of hers that I need to get my mitts on actually too. But yeah, this is a YA book from Candice. Again, I loved Queenie. I don't need to know much more about it in order to buy it. Well, I clearly didn't, because I have bought it. One that I spotted that I hadn't seen anywhere before, and just from the title I was like, this sounds like such a me book, was Old Lady Voice by Alyssa Victoria. And this is about a woman who, her mother's in hospital, so she goes to stay with the grandmother, and she starts to get to know all these old ladies, and they're not what you would stereotypically expect. And that was enough for me, and I hadn't heard about it before, so I picked it up and got it. Then this book I'm saying I bought for Chris, but really it's for me, and I'll probably read it first. It's Stanley Tucci's Taste, My Life Through Food. There's recipes in here, there's memoir, there's conversations about food. I didn't realise that Stanley Tucci had an operation. I don't know if it was for throat cancer, but it was definitely something with his throat where he couldn't eat for a certain amount of time, and he loves food. So yeah, I think it's going to be brilliant. Also, watched Supernova, fell in love with him, and this was after having actually met him twice, once at the Women's Prize and then at Elizabeth Day's book launch. And yeah, smitten, and it was signed, so I just had to get that one. And penultimately, but lastly, from that bookshop, the Book Bar, when I was being a bookseller, I got myself The Sister Who Ate Her Brothers and Other Gruesome Tales by Jen Campbell, and illustrated by Adam D'Souza. I was offered a copy of this to review, but I wanted to buy it and support it properly, so I did. I'm looking forward to heading to this in the lead up to Halloween. I think it's going to be a corker. And then the last book, which is actually from the bookshop that me and Melanie are probably going to go and film in next, the Atlantis Bookshop in London, which is a bit of a witchy bookshop, but this is a bit of a witchy book. I got this, which is Law of the Wild, Folklore and Wisdom from Nature, and it's so beautiful. It caught my eye, and then I was flicking through it, and I just thought, like, it celebrates so many different kinds of nature, from farmyard birds, ants, ladybirds and beetles, and why the trees whisper, a folk tale. So there's so many different things in here. I just thought, oh, that's so me. And spookily, literally spookily, me and Jenny Fagan were talking about how Wicca isn't really about magic and witches and all that. It's more about nature and stuff, and I think this is going to really inform me on that one. So there we go. Right, now then, catch up while I open some book parcels, and I'll try and do this quickly because I'm aware we're 18 minutes in. But yeah, I'm going to be travelling so much over the next few weeks. Oh, this is the new Sophie Hannah book. Hold that thought. The Couple at the Table. I love Sophie Hannah's crimes. I haven't read one for ages. It's out in January. It's a standalone. She started doing Poirot books a while back, and I don't love Poirot. I love Marple, but I don't love Poirot, so I haven't read them. not because I don't think she'll do it well, but just because the character really, really annoys me, and because she's following in Agatha Christie's footsteps, he's still going to probably be really annoying, so that's why I've not read him. Yeah, I'm keen to read a new standalone from her. Anyway, what was I saying? I'm going to be travelling loads. So over the next, basically until December the 20th, when I'm going to take, I think, 3 weeks off, I am travelling to at least 2 or 3 cities a week, and it's going to be bonkers. So I'm not going to make promises about what videos are going to go live when, or what's going to happen here, or if I'm going to be able to record, because if I'm traveling and busy with work, I'm just going to try and do work. But what I wanted to mention is that that's what's kind of going to happen. Oh, now I was sent, I think this in hardback, 7.5 Lessons About the Brain by Lisa Feldman Barrett. I don't know why I didn't fancy it, but I think I might give this to my stepdad because he's very much into science and stuff, and I think he will like that more than me. I was rubbish at science at school, and the irony of that all is that my stepdad was my science teacher. So there we go. Riddle me this, riddle me that. But yeah, so I have been travelling a lot. Oh, this is Skylark by Alice O'Keefe, who's written a book called On the Up, which I have not heard about. And it's in the mid-90s, and rebellion is in the air. Skylark is an activist, a raver, a tree dweller, a world changer. I don't like books about raving and drugs and stuff, and I feel like this might be. So we'll see. That one I might sit on and have a think about. Let's not literally sit on it. I wouldn't wish that on the book. But yeah, so I think I just wanted to sort of say in a catch-up that I'm definitely tired at the moment and quite busy, and I do want to keep the channel going, but I think any regularity or promises, I just can't make them, because it's not fair on all of you to be expecting something, but it's also not fair on me to put the expectation on myself or the pressure on myself. So that's something I've been thinking about. This is The Missing Hours by Julia Dahl. I like how they've done that cover. It's from Faber, and Claudia Castro has it all: the famous family, the trust fund, thousands of Instagram followers, and a spot in NYU's freshman class. But then one drunken night, everything changes. Claudia basically goes missing. So yeah, we'll see what I think about that. That's out in doesn't say, November. So there we go. This is very small. It's from Rough Trade Books, and I might have to just talk amongst yourselves while I try and open this, actually, because I think it's going to be quite a difficult one to... Is it going to be difficult to open? Maybe not, actually. I love Rough Trade. They do some amazing... Oh, I Am the Mother Cat by Ella Frears. I've not heard of this. It's a poetry. I guess you'd call that like a pamphlet, would you, I guess? But inside it's signed from Ella and says, "You are the distant sea." Oh, that's lovely. So I shall give that a... I haven't read as much poetry as I would like to this year, so shame on me again. There's a lot of shame on me, frankly. What I've got in here, something that is a hardback. Oh, now I asked for this, and I just wanted to put this out there, because when I did one of these unboxing, unwrapping, whatever you want to call them, on my Patreon, link down below, people were really shocked how few books I asked for. I think I maybe asked for like 4 or 5 books a month, if that. So yeah, just to put that out there, like these, well, apart from the ones I bought myself, obviously, a lot of them have come unsolicited because the publishers know what I love and what I like and want to send me it. So anyway, this is the Literary Almanac, a word that I struggle with, by Francesca Bowman, a year of seasonal reading. And I think it kind of talks about, there's lists of books, which is always good, and then each month you've kind of got little snippets from certain books. So I think I could go through this next year. That might be quite nice to do. So yeah, we'll see. But how beautiful is that? It's gorgeous. So there's that one, and then I think we've got 5 to go, and I know we're on 23 minutes, so hurry up, savage. We have East Side Voices, essay celebrating East and Southeast Asian identity in Britain, edited by Helena Lee. That sounds really interesting. That's out in January. So, oh, and there's authors like Tash Orr, Mary Jean Chan, whose poetry collection I love, Catherine Cho, whose memoir I loved. You've also got Charlene Teo, who I've meant to read, Rowan Hiseo Buchanan, who I've meant to read. Yeah, that's a really, really interesting collection right there. I would like to read a lot more essays. I was reading the books for the Gordon Burns Prize, and the winner was Hanif with the collection A Little Devil in America, which is some of the most incredible essays I've ever read, and it really sort of got me onto essays, if that makes sense. Then in here we have all this very tightly done. We have Born of No Woman, which is fiction, a dark and addictive novel of betrayal and desire, a word-of-mouth hit recommended by dozens of French booksellers. So there we go. I don't know what it's about, but I will find out in due course. I don't really like reading blurbs, so actually doing these can be quite an interesting thing, because I tend to just make up what I think that book is all about. But yeah, that sounds interesting. I like the cover. I don't really know why, but I don't really like the back so much, even though it's the same image. I don't know. Maybe I don't like the duo thing, but breastfeeding in public shouldn't be an issue, so I like the fact that I've got that on the cover, but that will upset some people. Oh, then I've got Pandora by Susan Stokes Chapman, which is out in January. Some doors are kept locked for a reason. Well, that just looks like an absolutely gothic good time, doesn't it? Let's not lie, I don't need to know any more about that. Also, lots of magpies on the cover of books at the moment. There's a magpie on Joanna Callan's as well. Right, penultimately, before I let you all get on with your lives, is Lear Wife by J.R. Thorpe, which I've had in proof edition, and this is a finished copy. I think it's got something to do with King Lear, and possibly his wife after he's dead. That's what it seems to say from the blurb there. I was going to say, have I shown this up on this channel? I don't think I have, because I've been so rubbish at hauls and wrap-ups and stuff. I say wrap-ups, I haven't read it, but I have got a copy of it, a proof copy already. And then last but not least, we have in here, what do we have in here? Oh, it's a finished copy of Ursa Daly Ward's The How. So yeah, I need to ask them for another one for Melanie, because yeah, it is going to be a Sykes and Savage book club pick. And actually, before I let you go, what am I currently reading? I am currently reading Where the Crawdads Sing by Delia Owens, which people have told me to read for ages. It sold loads of copies. It's one of the Sky Arts book club picks this month. Don't forget that the Sky Arts Book Club Facebook group, you can see loads more of me. I mean, you might not want to, but you can if you want. I'll link that down below as always, and you can read along and stuff with us. But I'm really liking the writing. The way she writes about nature and stuff is brill. And while I've got you for that, I will mention the other choices, which are Ian Rankin writing sort of as William McIlvany, because William McIlvany died. The Dark Remains, which is Laidlaw's first case. Now, I don't know if Laidlaw became McIlvany's famous detective. I'm not sure, but yeah, we'll be reading that very soon. And I'm listening on audio to possibly one of the most pertinent books of our time, Black and Blue by Parm Sandhu, who was former chief superintendent of the Metropolitan Police, and it's one woman's story of policing and prejudice, and that's what I will say. So there we go, my first video in a while, a bit of a chunkster. Apologies, I can't even reach my tea to have a sip, but hopefully you've had yours at hand. Let me know in the comments down below anything you want to have a chat about, things you'd like to see on the channel as and when. And also, if you're excited about any of these books, if you've read any of them and you didn't like them, or you're not excited about them for whatever reason, don't tell me now, tell me when I've read them, because I'm excited for these bad boys right now. Well, I'm mystified by some of them because I don't quite know what they are, but I've not had time with them yet, because that was all part of the joy of the video. But yeah, let's have a chat about all sorts of shenanigans, and I will speak to you all possibly tomorrow with my mum. Possibly, not definitely, possibly. I'll speak to you all then, or after that on Sunday when my vlog goes up. Bye.